Talked to Jimmy about, I asked him about pivotal points in the season so far, and he mentioned a game in Milwaukee where you had maybe two regular D dressed for the game. Do you recall that game?
I do, yeah.
Was that what, November 10th? Did I have that right?
January 12th.
January 12th, yeah.
January 12th. Okay, so it was later.
It was on this last road trip, yeah.
Okay, so he said that was sort of an indicator to him that this team is maybe made of stronger stuff. What was your impression of that game, and did it inform you at all about what these guys are made of?
Yeah, I guess it did. I mean, I think even the games before that, like I think right from the start of that road trip, before we left, we dropped a whole bunch of players, whether they went on taxi squad because we were leaving or COVID or and we were in Texas and we started there, but we kept losing players, and I guess what Jimmy's referring to, by the time we got to Milwaukee was we were as depleted of team as I've seen, and we had replacements come in from our East Coast League teams, in Newfoundland and so on, and those guys did an incredible job. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a lot to do with the players, the core group, and Jimmy being one of those guys. Meyer, Malott. I think we still had Poganski at that time. Like, these guys have been great leaders and great in spreading the message to the guys that are coming in. So we've always had enough of the leadership group around to spread that message to all the new guys and how hard we have to work to win a hockey game. And it kind of carried on from there. So I think he's probably referring to that game in Milwaukee where we were really depleted and we came out with an outstanding effort. And not just to win the game, but to outshoot them and outchance them, and did what we had to do to win a hockey game.
Right. I'm just looking at your stat sheet here, and you've had 35 skaters play at least a game. You've had 4 goalies play at least 2 games. That sounds to me like a coach's nightmare. How do you deal with that, or do you think about it?
Yeah, you know what? It's not easy. Like the work is ramped up a little bit, and the staff has had to work a lot harder in preparing all the new players that are coming in all the time. So it has been. But I think the other thing we've had to sell to the guys that it doesn't matter who you play with on any given night, because your lines change every game, sometimes by the period, and they've had no regular line mates. So that's been challenging for them, but more challenging, I think, for the coaching staff to continue to work with that and make sure that the line mates know tendencies and so on of each other. So it has been some work, but it's also been very rewarding.
Have you ever had a roster situation similar to this?
I could go back to no, not really. I haven't. But when I was in the East Coast League with the Victoria Salmon Kings, who were affiliated with the Manitoba Moose, Craig Heisinger robbed me of all my players one year. So yeah.
So who do you blame this year?
Yeah, nobody.
One last thing from me. You don't. This is like a scoring by committee bunch. It looks like to me. Is that sort of what you expected when you started out?
It's not what I expected when I started out, but when when we lost the players that we lost to the Jets, Gustafsson and Reichel and CJC, like, then we had to start thinking like we've got to score by committee and start preaching that, and they do a good job of it. Like I think that the key to this group at the moment is that they believe that they can win any game, no matter who they have in the lineup, which is special.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go next to Joey Slattery from CTV.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for doing this. My first question is, what's most impressed you about this team, considering all the challenges that the team has gone through and where you stand right now?
I think it's their will to win. That for me is special. Even and they've also taken we've talked to them about what COVID has done around different leagues, and it's created a taxi squad, which took a bunch of our our NHL contracted players up, and COVID itself, and all these other guys have, whether they came from the East Coast Hockey League or they were our fourth liners, are now first liners and second liners and getting great opportunities on the power play and the penalty kill and ice time that they never had before. So those guys have done an incredible job in understanding this is my chance, and they've kind of ran with it, and a lot of them, like I'll bring Greg Morales was a fourth line center for us. He's now playing first and second line center, and he's done a great job at doing it. He's proven that he can play in the American Hockey League as a regular. And I could go down the list. There's lots of them that have taken the opportunity and run with it.
Sorry, I had trouble unmuting my mic there. You talked about the bit of a surprise with the scoring of committee, but is there a level of surprise of just the amount of success this team has experienced through this whole kind of turbulent process?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. I mean, early on, I thought that, we were in Texas and played a fairly strong Texas team, how their lineup stood at the time. And I guess I was a little bit surprised how competitive we were there. And then it kind of just started carrying on. And, now I'm a believer like they are, but they've done a lot on their own. I said that core group has done a lot inside the dressing room itself without the coaches being around. So a lot of credit to them, and a credit to a lot of the personalities that the management has put in. Like even these East Coast League players, you remember like that whole group that got called up against the Milwaukee game, they were all here for training camp. So they had a little bit of system work in them, and they were familiar with some of the players on the team, and those are all good players, and they came in and did a great job for us.
And my last question is, talking about all these players going up to the NHL and getting the opportunities too. I mean, there's a few Moose players that have had their first goals, first points, and are productive for the Jets. When teammates see their teammates move up and have that success, how does that kind of instill confidence in your team, seeing that, going through this process is, bringing them or making them able to compete at the next level and produce? I mean, how does that help the confidence? Has it helped kind of keep guys motivated throughout this process?
Yeah, this is a good question, and I believe that it's given a lot of hope to a lot of players that say, hey, if I do things the right way in the American Hockey League here, maybe I'm going to get my shot at it. And the Jets have done a good job of, they take who they need, but they've almost gone through our whole team of NHL contracts. So at the end of the day, guys like Christian Reichel, who were here and doing everything the right way, I think all the younger guys and all the first years and the second years that are here all see that if you continue to work hard and do things the right way in the American Hockey League, you have a chance. And I think, all of this times that we're going through right now is created a lot of that. And this team for sure believes that we've probably got, I would say, a half a dozen of those forwards down there now that didn't have as much ice time, as they're getting now early on. I think they believe that they have an opportunity.